Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever had an idea completely flip your worldview? I mean, seriously. One minute you're going about your day thinking you know exactly how the world works, how success is achieved, and the next, bam, everything just shifts. That's precisely what happened to me recently, and I'm still buzzing from it, actually. I stumbled upon this absolutely profound concept in a video from Awaken Your Potential, a channel I genuinely respect and often turn to for really deep insights. The title itself grabbed me instantly. The Lazy Achiever, How to Crush Goals Effortlessly. My brain did a genuine double take. Lazy and crush goals effortlessly. It felt like a contradiction, almost a trick. Because let's be honest, we're so deeply conditioned almost from birth, to believe that lazy is the ultimate four-letter word when it comes to ambition and success, right? We're taught to despise it, to fight against it with every fiber of our being. But this video completely challenged those deeply ingrained notions, and honestly, it's been living rent-free in my head ever since, prompting me to rethink so much about my own approach.
Oh, yeah. What's truly fascinating here is how the video takes something we've been taught to view as a fundamental flaw, the inherent human desire for ease, for less effort, and then with incredible dexterity spins it into a strength, maybe even a superpower. The title alone, like you said, immediately creates this intriguing paradox. It forces you to question deeply ingrained beliefs about productivity, effort, and what it truly means to achieve. And Awaken Your Potential consistently delivers on this promise. It really is a trusted space for deep transformation and growth-oriented content. They don't just scratch the surface, do they? They push us to rethink fundamental approaches to life and work. And this particular deep dive of theirs absolutely delivers on that promise of profound insight.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, our mission is crystal clear. We're going to unravel the core message of the Lazy Achiever video, explore its incredibly practical applications like in granular detail, and truly invite you, our listener, to fundamentally rethink your entire approach to goals, productivity, and even how you define success. Now, let's be super clear from the get-go. This isn't about promoting actual laziness in the traditional unproductive sense of just sitting around doing nothing, wishing for things to happen. Quite the opposite. This is about leveraging a much deeper, more nuanced understanding of efficiency, human nature, and what genuinely drives impactful results in a sustainable way. It's about working smarter, not just harder, and doing so in a way that feels sustainable and maybe even, genuinely enjoyable.
Precisely. Our aim here is to extract the most powerful nuggets of knowledge from this concept, sort of dissecting them so thoroughly that you gain not just insights, but truly actionable steps, things that can lead to genuine aha moments in your own life and work. We want to provide you with a shortcut, if you will, to being incredibly well-informed on this surprising and frankly revolutionary perspective on achievement. It's about moving beyond just like surface-level productivity hacks and understanding the deeper psychological principles at play that can transform your relationship with effort and outcome.
So let's kick things off by looking at the prevailing narrative that this video so brilliantly challenges, the relentless burden of hustle culture. You know it, you probably lived it. It's that overwhelming societal pressure that constantly screams at us, telling us that nonstop work, grinding 24/7, waking at the crack of dawn to optimize every single minute are the only ways to succeed. It's insidious, isn't it? We've all felt that pervasive guilt for putting things off, or the sheer bone-deep exhaustion from trying to keep up with those seemingly superhuman productivity gurus who appear to be powered by actual rocket fuel. I remember distinctly, not that long ago, feeling perpetually behind. It just felt so heavy. Every successful person seemed to be advocating for 18-hour workdays, sacrificing sleep, family sanity, all for the sake of the grind. And if you dared to take a break or even just work a standard day, there was this suffocating pressure, this internal voice whispering, "You're lazy. You're not disciplined enough. You'll never make it if you don't push harder always." It creates this vicious cycle of overwork, guilt, and eventually, burnout.
Definitely. And it's more than just a feeling of exhaustion. It's a systemic issue that leads directly to burnout, which, as the video powerfully explains, is ultimately self-defeating for long-term achievement and overall well-being. It just doesn't work long-term. Think about it. Why have we been sold this pervasive idea that continuous, relentless exertion is the sole path to success? It often stems from a combination of industrial era thinking, where output was directly tied to hours on the clock, coupled with modern economic pressures and the glorification of external validation. We've been conditioned to equate busy with important or effective, when in reality they're often entirely separate concepts.
Totally separate.
And the hidden costs of this approach are immense. We're sacrificing not just our mental mental and physical health, but our creativity, our capacity for true innovation, our relationships, even our genuine passion for the work itself. When every task feels like an uphill battle against a ticking clock, the joy dissipates. And motivation becomes a struggle of sheer willpower rather than intrinsic drive.
It really does. And in the video, they illustrate this perfectly, saying it's like trying to sprint a marathon. Sure, you'll make some ground, but eventually you're going to hit a wall, a very painful wall. We're constantly told, push harder, squeeze every last drop out of every second. And if you don't, well, then you're lazy, undisciplined, or just not ambitious enough, right? That nonstop pressure is, frankly, suffocating. And it can lead you to believe that big achievements just aren't for people like you, people who maybe naturally look for the smartest, easiest route. But here's where it gets really interesting. The video introduces this radical shift in perspective, that the urge to take it easy, the very thing we call laziness, might actually be our most powerful, untapped superpower. Which at first sounds utterly mind-bending. I mean, my entire upbringing told me to fight that urge.
It's a redefinition that doesn't just flip the script, it completely rewrites the operating manual, doesn't it? The video clarifies that when they talk about lazy, they're absolutely not talking about being a couch potato with zero ambition, just passively waiting for success to knock on the door. Oh no. The lazy achiever still has audacious goals, big dreams, and a profound desire to achieve them. The fundamental difference lies in their approach, which is rooted in an inherent drive for efficiency. This form of laziness isn't about avoiding work, it's about actively, intentionally seeking the most streamlined, effective path to impact. It's about being wired for efficiency, as they explain it, which means consistently asking how to get the maximum output with the minimum necessary input of energy. It's a strategic choice, not a character flaw.
Exactly. That's where the revelation hit me. And one of the ideas I really loved from the video to illustrate this redefined laziness was the example of the TV remote. Okay, so picture this for a second. Who is more likely to invent something like the TV remote? Is it the person who genuinely enjoys hopping up to change the channel every 5 minutes, getting that little burst of cardio? Probably not. Or is it the one lounging comfortably on the sofa, maybe with a bowl of popcorn, thinking, oh, there has to be a way to do this without moving? It's so relatable, isn't it? That innate human desire for comfort and ease, that urge to simplify, to reduce friction, it's a massive motivator. It's what pushes us to find those clever shortcuts, to innovate, to make things simpler and more effortless. And this isn't just about consumer convenience either. Think about the invention of the wheel or even the internet. So many fundamental advancements in human history have been driven by this deep-seated, lazy impulse to do things more easily, more efficiently. It's actually genius when you think about it that way.
That example perfectly highlights the golden question that the lazy achiever constantly asks themselves. What's the absolute least I can do to get the biggest possible result? And again, this isn't about dodging work, as in shirking responsibility or failing to deliver on commitments. No. Rather, it's about specifically dodging pointless work. It's about being incredibly smart and strategic with where you put your energy, recognizing that our time, our mental bandwidth, our physical energy are finite, precious resources. We only have so much. They make a powerful point that working hard is often glorified in our society, but true productivity isn't about the sheer volume of hours you clock in or the number of tasks on your list. It really isn't. It's about the actual, meaningful impact you make with your focused efforts. A lazy achiever will meticulously analyze a task or project and identify the core levers that will yield, say, 80% of the results, and then direct 100% of their focused energy there, completely bypassing the other 80% of activities that only contribute 20% of the impact. It's a ruthless prioritization of energy expenditure. It has to be.
And this brings us to another huge revelation from the video: procrastination. The ultimate enemy, right? We're constantly told to fight it, overcome it, conquer it. It's painted as the ultimate villain of productivity, the saboteur of dreams. We beat ourselves up, we feel shame, we spiral into self-criticism every time we put something off. I know I do. Or I did.
But the video challenges this deeply ingrained belief, suggesting that sometimes procrastination is actually your friend, like a big flashing sign trying to tell you something crucial. This is truly eye-opening, and for many people, I think it's a huge psychological relief. They dive into what procrastination might actually be trying to tell you. Perhaps the task doesn't genuinely align with your core values or long-term goals. It's something you think you should do, but your inner compass is kind of saying no. Or maybe the task feels overwhelmingly big and scary to even begin, and your brain is essentially freezing up in the face of perceived complexity. It happens. It could also be that the entire plan or approach you've set out is fundamentally off, inefficient, or simply not the smartest path. The key insight here is that what we often label as laziness or procrastination is frequently just your brain communicating confusion or a misalignment. I'm confused about this, or this doesn't feel right for me. It's a signal, a data point, not a moral failing. That's the shift. Instead of punishing yourself, you can learn to interpret these signals. Like, if you're procrastinating on a report, is it because you don't know what to write, or why it matters, or who the audience is? Or is it simply too large a task that hasn't been broken down into smaller pieces? Procrastination, when viewed this way, becomes a diagnostic tool. It's actually helpful.
Which is such a massive shift. Instead of instantly kicking yourself for putting something off, the lazy achiever gets curious. Okay, procrastination, what are you trying to tell me here? What is the deeper message beneath this resistance? In the video, they emphasize that if starting something feels like climbing Mount Everest, it's often because you're not 100% sure why it's important or what that first teeny tiny step actually is. I experienced this recently with a new, complex project. I kept putting off the initial research, feeling this heavy resistance. It was palpable. Instead of forcing myself, I paused and asked, okay, what's this procrastination trying to tell me? I realized the project felt too vague, too ill-defined. My brain was just confused. So I spent an hour just clarifying the purpose in the first 3 tiny steps. And you know what? The resistance just vanished. Poof. A true lazy achiever knows that willpower, as a finite resource, it runs out. But you can always find more clarity. Clarity doesn't deplete. It empowers.
Exactly. This perspective isn't about lowering your standards or settling for mediocrity. It's about seriously upgrading your efficiency and impact. It's about realizing that true productivity isn't measured by the hours you clock in or the sheer volume of tasks you attempt. Not at all. It's measured by the actual, meaningful impact you make with your focused, intelligent efforts. By understanding and addressing the root causes of what we call laziness or procrastination, you unlock a path to achieving more with less friction, more joy, and ultimately greater effectiveness. It's a profound reframe of what it means to be productive, shifting from a mindset of endless grind to one of strategic, purposeful action.
So how do you actually apply this radical, lazy achiever mindset in your real life day in and day out? Because theory is great, but we need action, right? The video lays out 4 game-changing hacks, and honestly, they are so deceptively simple, yet so incredibly powerful when you start using them. The first one is called the Effortless 80-20 Blueprint. Now, you've probably bumped into the Pareto principle before, the idea that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. It's a classic for a reason. But most people, they spread themselves too thin, right? They chase everything, giving equal importance, equal energy to every task on their to-do list, convinced that more effort equals more results across the board. It's like trying to perfectly water every single blade of grass in a massive lawn instead of focusing on the root system of the most vital plants. You just can't do it effectively.
And that's where the lazy achiever radically differs, and where the effortless part truly shines. They laser in with surgical precision on what truly moves the needle. The video provides concrete, actionable advice here. You need to ask yourself constantly, if I could only do 1, maybe 2 things here, what would make the biggest impact? What would create the most leverage? This isn't just a theoretical exercise, it's a non-negotiable directive for them. The strategy is to identify those few vital activities and then focus fiercely and almost exclusively on those high-impact activities. For instance, if you're a salesperson, your 20% might be building genuine relationships with key clients, not endless cold calls that yield little. If you're a writer, it might be the core message and structure of your piece, not agonizing over perfect grammar on the very first draft. It requires a deep understanding of your ultimate goals and a critical, almost brutal eye for what genuinely contributes to them versus what is merely busy work or worse, a complete distraction. It's about constantly challenging the assumption that all effort is equally valuable, because it's just not.
Yeah, and here's the ruthless part they talk about. Once you've identified those crucial 20% that will deliver 80% of the results, the rest, either automate it, delegate it, or just don't do it at all. Get rid of it. It's about being absolutely uncompromising. Your time and energy are too precious to waste on fluff, on tasks that barely move the needle. This means intentionally identifying and eliminating non-essential tasks that drain your resources without contributing significant value. Imagine your to-do list. Are you spending equal time on an email that takes 30 seconds and a strategic document that takes 3 hours? Probably not the best use of energy. The lazy achiever understands that time and energy are finite, so they become masters of elimination. This isn't about being irresponsible. It's about doing less of the low-impact stuff and completely skipping the fluff that doesn't matter. If something can be automated with a quick tool or delegated to someone else or simply deleted because it's not truly necessary for your core goals, the lazy achiever does it without hesitation. It's a mindset shift from how can I get everything done to What's the most important thing I can get done today that will make everything else easier, or maybe even irrelevant?
That leads us perfectly into the second hack, masterful procrastination. As we touched on earlier, not all procrastination is inherently evil or bad. The video details how strategic delay, when used intentionally, can genuinely spark creativity and lead to better, more innovative solutions. There's a real benefit, they argue, to letting your brain chew on problems in the background before you tackle them directly. This isn't about mindlessly putting things off because you're avoidant. It's about actively allowing for incubation, giving your subconscious mind the time and space it needs. Time to connect disparate ideas, process complex information, and generate novel approaches that direct, forced effort might never uncover. Think of it like this. If you're stuck on a creative problem, instead of just staring at a blank page getting frustrated, you might go for a walk, do some mundane chores, maybe even just take a nap. Your conscious mind is disengaged, but your subconscious, it continues working, making connections. That's the power of intentional delay. The video encourages us to lean into this. They also suggest building momentum by starting with tiny related tasks first to reduce the initial overwhelm. For example, if you have to write a complex proposal, don't try to write the whole thing at once. Instead, commit to just opening the document or writing 3 bullet points of ideas. This tiny action bypasses the resistance and often leads to more work getting done naturally.
Yes, and they also emphasize a crucial insight. If you're consistently avoiding something repeatedly, that's that signal again. Remember the flashing sign. It might be telling you that the task isn't really worth doing in the first place for your ultimate goals, or perhaps requires a completely new approach you haven't considered yet. It's an invitation to pause and reassess, rather than just push through with brute force, which is what hustle culture tells us to do. The key here, and they emphasize this, is to be intentional with your delay, rather than simply letting inertia or fear drive your postponement. It's a deliberate tactic, a strategic choice, not a default reaction. You're not ignoring the task, you're letting it marinate. You're asking, is there a smarter way to do this? And often, that clarity emerges during the procrastination period. It's about becoming a detective of your own resistance, really digging into it.
Then we move to the third hack, which they call the do it once system. This is built on a powerful mantra that truly encapsulates the lazy achiever's philosophy. Automate it, delegate it, or delete it. Lazy achievers, as they explain, truly thrive on simplicity and leverage. Their ultimate goal is to minimize recurring effort and repetitive tasks that just drain mental energy and time. It's about creating systems that serve you, rather than you being constantly at the mercy of your never-ending to-do list.
This one just makes so much sense. It feels like common sense, but we don't always do it. In the video, they provide practical, immediately actionable examples for how to actually implement this. Let's break them down a bit. For Automate, it's all about leveraging technology, creating templates, setting up repeatable systems to eliminate tasks you find yourself doing over and over again. Like Groundhog Day, think of things like email rules that automatically sort incoming messages, using scheduling tools for appointments so you avoid that back and forth, setting up recurring payments for bills, or creating content templates for social media posts or client reports. If you're a freelancer, imagine having a template for your proposals, contracts, or invoices you do at once by setting it up properly, and then you just fill in the blanks forever after. It frees up enormous mental bandwidth, it really does. For Delegate, it's about identifying tasks that genuinely drain your energy, don't play to your unique strengths, or simply aren't the highest and best use of your specific time, and then responsibly handing them off to others. This could be outsourcing administrative tasks to a virtual assistant, delegating specific parts of a project to a team member who is maybe more skilled in that area, or even in your personal life, hiring someone to clean your house, mow your lawn, or handle groceries. The lazy achiever isn't afraid to invest in freeing up their time for high-impact activities. They understand that their time is their most valuable asset, and it's worth protecting fiercely. And then, the most liberating one, delete. This is about ruthlessly eliminating meaningless tasks that clutter your day and honestly don't contribute significantly to your core goals or values. It's about asking, does this truly need to be done at all? And be honest with the answer. If the answer is genuinely no, then it's gone. Poof, delete it. This could mean saying no to optional meetings that lack clear agendas. We've all been in those, unsubscribing from newsletters you never read, or letting go of certain social obligations that don't bring you joy or real value. It requires a courageous willingness to simplify and protect your focus. Saying no is a skill here.
It's a fantastic framework for what they call productivity with purpose, ensuring that every action you take serves a meaningful end. You're not just clearing your plate randomly, you're intentionally shaping your day, your week, your life to focus only on what truly generates significant impact and moves you closer to your most important aspirations. This approach conserves your most valuable resources, your time, your energy, your attention, allowing you to direct them where they matter most. It shifts you from being reactive, constantly putting out fires, to being proactively strategic about where you spend your life force.
And finally, the fourth hack, which I think is a secret weapon for so many people who feel overwhelmed, the 2-minute triumph in tiny habits. The 2-minute triumph rule is incredibly simple. If something takes 2 minutes or less to do, do it now. Don't put it on a list, don't overthink it, just knock it out, boom, done. They highlight this as a brilliant strategy for instant wins and for instantly overcoming that initial inertia, that feeling of, I don't want to start. Think about replying to a quick email, putting away those dishes that are staring at you, tidying your desk quickly, making that quick phone call you've been avoiding. These are all 2-minute triumphs. They prevent mental clutter from building up and creating that sense of being perpetually behind. It's amazing how much mental energy we waste thinking about these tiny tasks instead of just doing them in, well, 2 minutes.
And building on that, they really dive into the profound concept of tiny habits for tackling bigger goals. The idea here is to make the starting point of any significant task laughably small. That's the key. They give fantastic, concrete examples that demonstrate the psychological genius behind this. Instead of saying, I need to write my book today, you say, I will write just one sentence. Instead of, I have to do my workout, you say, I'll do one push-up, or even just, I'll put on my running shoes. That's it. Or if you need to tackle a big project on your computer, you simply commit to opening the file. That's the entire task. They explain the profound psychological hack here. This tiny first step tricks your brain into action. It just bypasses the overwhelm. The barrier to entry becomes so incredibly low that your brain doesn't register it as a monumental, overwhelming effort. It doesn't trigger the resistance associated with a large task. And then what happens? Momentum naturally takes over. Once you're in motion, even for a moment, the likelihood of continuing increases exponentially. It's like pushing a car. The hardest part is getting it moving. It completely bypasses that Mount Everest feeling of starting a big task, making daunting projects feel approachable, manageable, and eventually inevitable. You build a habit, not through brute force or sheer willpower, but through consistent, tiny, almost unnoticeable wins. This creates a positive feedback loop. Small success leads to more small successes, which compound into huge achievements over time. It's all about consistency over intensity.
So yeah, this isn't just about a few clever tricks or quick fixes, is it? It's much deeper than that. The video makes it crystal clear that getting into this lazy achiever mindset isn't like flipping a switch. It's much more like upgrading your entire operating system. It's a continuous process of self-inquiry, experimentation, and constant refinement, a journey rather than a one-time destination. It's not just, boom, you've got it. It's about fundamentally changing how you relate to effort, achievement, and maybe even your own sense of self-worth.
Precisely. It's about fostering a fundamental shift in how you view work, effort, and success. It's a whole paradigm shift. The core question you continuously ask yourself becomes, how can I hit my goals with more ease, more smarts, and hey, even have a bit more fun doing it? This mindset actively cultivates a more enjoyable and sustainable path to success, moving away from the soul-crushing grind and towards a more fluid, integrated approach to life and work. It acknowledges that enjoyment isn't a distraction from productivity, but often a powerful catalyst for it. It's fuel. When you enjoy what you're doing, when it feels less like a struggle, you're naturally more engaged, more creative, and more persistent. It's about finding that sweet spot where effort meets flow, where things just click.
And part of that operating system upgrade involves a radical redefinition of rest. This was huge for me. In the video, they powerfully state that rest isn't some guilty pleasure, something you sneak in when no one's looking because you feel like you should be working 24/7. Oh no. It is a totally essential ingredient for being your best, period. This means strategic downtime is when your brain truly recharges, consolidates information from the day, generates brilliant new ideas, and actually gets super creative. It's not wasted time. It's absolutely crucial investment time. It's not slacking off. It's strategic refueling. Think about how many times you've been stuck on a problem, completely banging your head against the wall. Then you step away for a walk or a shower, do something totally unrelated, and suddenly the solution just pops into your head, seemingly out of nowhere.
Right.
That's your brain doing its best, most creative work during rest. It's connecting the dots. It's during these periods that you process, integrate, and connect disparate pieces of information that your conscious, stressed-out mind might have overlooked while in the thick of things. Embracing strategic rest is not only about preventing burnout. It's about actively optimizing your brain's performance and fostering true innovation. It's about recognizing that constant output without sufficient input leads to diminishing returns. You need to fill the tank.
And hand in hand with strategic rest is the critical importance of getting crystal clear on what you actually want. Really, really clear. This isn't about what external pressures dictate or what others' expectations might be or what society tells you success looks like in flashing neon signs. It's about truly understanding your intrinsic motivations and desires, your authentic purpose, your stuff. They analyze how this profound clarity fuels intentionality, ensuring that every action you take aligns with your true desires and contributes to a life that genuinely excites and fulfills you, rather than just ticking boxes someone else created for you. Without this clarity, even the most efficient strategies can lead you down paths that don't serve your deepest purpose. You can climb the ladder really fast, only to find it's leaning against the wrong wall. That ultimately results in a sense of emptiness and even regret, even if you achieve success by external metrics. It's about constantly asking, is this truly my goal, or am I chasing someone else's definition of success? This clarity acts as a powerful filter, allowing you to ruthlessly apply the delete hack we talked about to anything that doesn't align, saving you immense time and energy. It means defining success entirely on your own terms. That's true freedom.
Exactly. So what are the transformative outcomes of embracing this approach? What's the payoff? The video describes these tangible benefits that really resonated with me. You find yourself getting way more done, but feeling significantly less stressed, less rushed, less overwhelmed. Sounds good, right? And here's the kicker. You actually start enjoying the ride to reaching your biggest goals. It's not about endless striving anymore. It's about intelligent, focused, maybe even joyful progress. It's about reaching those ambitious targets, yes, but doing so in a way that feels authentic and empowering, rather than depleting and soul-crushing. You're not fighting against your nature. You're finally leveraging it.
The holistic impact of this lazy achiever mindset is truly profound. It really is. It's not just about hitting your targets. It's about doing so in a way that feels genuinely good, is sustainable over the long term, and is authentically you. It reinforces the powerful idea that this approach leads to more time and energy for the stuff that truly makes you happy, that fires you up, the things outside of just work. It allows you to live a more balanced, fulfilling, and purposeful life overall. It's a fundamental shift from quantity of effort to quality of impact, ultimately enriching your entire experience of work and life. You become an intentional architect of your days, rather than just a passenger on a runaway train of endless tasks and obligations. Hashtag tag tag outro play.
Wow. Okay, so what does all this mean for you, our listener? We have just taken a pretty deep dive into the powerful, paradigm-shifting insights of the lazy achiever mindset, pulled directly from that brilliant video on Awaken Your Potential. We explored how embracing what we previously maybe called laziness can actually be your most potent secret weapon, which is still kind of wild to say. And we unpacked those 4 game-changing hacks. The effortless 80-20 blueprint for ruthless focus. Masterful procrastination is a tool for deeper insight. The do-it-once system for ultimate efficiency. And the undeniable power of the 2-minute triumph and tiny habits for building unstoppable momentum. That was a lot.
Now, we really want to hear from you. As you've been listening to this conversation, which specific hack truly clicked with you? Which one are you maybe itching to try first in your own life? Perhaps it's applying the 80-20 rule to your biggest project at work, maybe finally figuring out what that 20% is. Or maybe you're ready to embrace masterful procrastination and actually allow your brain to do some background processing on a complex problem you've been stuck on. Give it space. Or is it adopting the do-it-once mantra, automate, delegate, delete to streamline your daily routines and finally get rid of those repetitive tasks? Or perhaps conquering those seemingly impossible goals with those laughably tiny habits? Which one sort of jumped out at you? Take a moment right now, if you can, just to reflect on what stands out to you, what feels like the most impactful first step you take.
Yeah, definitely. Drop a comment below this deep dive and let us know which hack really clicked with you. Or hey, if you've got your own genius lazy achiever tricks up your sleeve, I genuinely want to hear them. Seriously. We absolutely love seeing how these ideas resonate and maybe transform your journey, and building this shared sense of discovery and support within the Awaken Your Potential community is what it's all about. Your insights help everyone listening.
And for an even more visual and immersive experience that truly brings these concepts to life, we strongly recommend watching the full video, The Lazy Achiever, How to CR Rush Goals Effortlessly, on the Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel. You really should. You can find it easily at youtube.com at Awaken Your Potential now. Seeing these concepts explained with visuals and the original delivery truly allows for an even deeper integration of these powerful ideas into your thinking. It's worth the watch.
Absolutely. And as you go out there and start leveraging your inner lazy achiever in the days and weeks to come, Just remember this profound truth from the video. That inherent urge you have to find the easy way, the path least resistance. It's not a flaw. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's your brain giving you a friendly, powerful nudge towards a much smarter, more enjoyable, and ultimately more impactful way to work and live. So stop fighting it. Start using it. Start listening to it. You'll be absolutely blown away by what you can achieve almost without trying, simply by tapping into this innate human drive. How cool is that, seriously?
It really makes you think, doesn't it? This raises an important question for you to maybe mull over in the coming days. What if our greatest perceived weakness, that thing we've been told to suppress or overcome, is actually our most underestimated strength, just waiting to be unleashed? We really encourage you to subscribe to the Awaken Your Potential YouTube channel and connect with us here too to stay plugged in for continued growth steps and future strategies that empower you to unlock your full potential with greater ease and lasting impact. We're excited to see what you achieve.